Hey guys, welcome on in. We're back for Pixlr E tutorial number 3. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing around a little bit more with layers. Last time we messed with layers, removing backgrounds and whatnot. Today we're going to get a little bit more advanced with it. We're also going to talk about some blending modes that might improve your photos when you're bringing in different elements. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. Now, at this point in time, you've been to Google Classroom. There should be 3 different photos for you to download. There's a photo of a man looking out a window, a photo of the planet Earth, and then a photo of basically some, what would you call it? Moisture. Moisture on the window. That was the word I was looking for. Anyway, make sure that you download those first, and through the magic of video, you just did it. So here we go. Let's go ahead and hop into things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit open image. And we are going to open up this photo of this man looking out the window. So let's go ahead and open it up. Now it's a little bit of a smaller image, but it's going to work out just fine for us. So what I would like you to do, I'm going to move. Yeah, I think that's actually okay right there. What I want you to do is I want you to zoom in so that the photo is taking up the majority of your screen. So zoom in so you're looking at the entire photo. You don't want any areas off of your screen, but you also want to be able to see the entire photo. Okay, so you can zoom in with your mouse wheel here, or if you don't have a mouse wheel, you have the zoom over here on the side. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create kind of the surreal window. Okay. Right now he's looking out at the city. We want him to be looking out at something fantastic. Okay. In this case, he's going to be looking out at space. It's going to be kind of interesting. So the first thing we want to do though is we want to create a mask around where the city is, around where the window pane is on both the top and the bottom. Okay. So that's where we're going to start. So once again, we're going to go to our lasso select tool. Again, it's that one right there with the little circle. And what we're going to choose here is we're going to choose the polygon select. Okay. So choose the polygon. Again, that allows you to click and kind of work your way around an object. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to start on this lower window pane. This one's the hardest of the two, okay? So we're going to click, and then you can see that set an anchor for us. Now, because this is a straight line, I can go straight down to the bottom. Make sure that you're lined up along that window, and then click again. That sets another anchor. Again, you can see that. I'm going to click to the man's body here. And then this is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to try and work an outline around him the best we can. Now, this is something that we can fix up a little bit later. But again, the work that we do now makes it so we get to do less later. So small clicks, just setting those anchors as we go along. And you can see the little red circle every single time I click. Okay, we're just going all the way around the guy. This is honestly probably the hardest thing about our tutorial today. There we go. Keep it going. All the way to the bottom, and then we have straight lines. Again, all the way up. And all the way across. Now I see that little spot on the window coming down from the top. We're actually just going to cut that completely out. So there we go. I'm going to finish my square there. Now, if it doesn't snap immediately to our marching ants line, just hit enter on your keyboard and it will close the gap between the two lines. Now, we also want to do the top window too. Okay, we're going to try and do both of these at the same time. Now, up top, you want to make sure that you have this middle box selected where it says add to selection. Okay, and that's going to allow us to go ahead and make a second selection. Okay, same thing with the top ones here. I can just cut out the little handles there. I don't think we're going to miss them. Okay, and again, this one's a whole lot easier because we're not dealing with the man at all. We're just making a square. Okay, there we go. So marching ants lines on both ends. Okay, now what we want to do with that is we want to go ahead and create a mask using that selection. The problem is if we create a mask based on this selection here, if I go to select and convert to mask, it does the exact opposite of what we wanted to do. Okay, so I'm going to Control Z real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to our select menu up top. We're going to go select. I'm going to choose invert selection. So that's going to take everything that's selected and just flip it so it's not selected. And then again, select. We're going to convert to a mask. So there we go. Okay. Now here, if you want to, you can go into draw mask. And you can start, I'm going to change my brush size, obviously. That's a humongous brush. Opacity, I'm going to change opacity up to 100%. And then what you can do is make sure that you're on remove from mask. You can go around him. Any spots that you kind of messed up, you can kind of paint around that. Again, red means that we're taking it away. I kind of gave him some like elf ears there. Remember, if you take out too much, Control Z is going to be your best friend in this case. Okay. Oops, hit the wrong thing. There we go. All right, so I'm going to take a look all the way around, make sure that there's no spots that I want to clean up. Honestly, it looks all right. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out. There we go. There is our window mask. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our background. Again, at this point in time, I'm going to show you space, but at this point in time, you can basically do whatever you want to this. You can put him underwater. You can put him looking out at the Seattle skyline. You can have him looking up in space, which is what we're going to do here in a second, or any number of things. So, but it all works the same, but I'm just going to show you. We're going to go plus to add a new layer, and we're going to choose an image. And for the image that I'm going to choose, we're not flat earthers. We're going to choose the actual earth there. And I'm going to hit open. Now, again, this is a huge image file. It doesn't quite match what we're looking for as far as size goes. Personally, for myself, I'm going to flip it around. And then I can do that, again, using their range tool over here. And then you have this little handle here in the top middle. And I'm going to flip it completely upside down. Okay. Now, with the selections that we currently have here, you can see that it covers up the man. And that's where our layers come into play. We learned about this in our last tutorial, that the further up something is on our layers list here, the further up it's going to be on our layers on our photo. So I'm just going to take our man layer and we're going to drag it up above Earth. It's not want to do that. I'm going to drag Earth down. How about that? Yeah, that worked a whole lot better. So there you go. It pops right in. We can resize it however we want it. Again, don't want to go too small with it just because it is kind of a skinnier photo and we want it to hit the bottom of that frame there. So I think that looks pretty good to me. I might even actually offset it a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. All right. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of blue light coming from that background. And in our window photo, it looks kind of a brownish, like grayer light. Forgive me on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and recolor the man at the window. Okay. So again, I want to make sure that I'm clicked on the man on the window layer. What I then want to do is I want to go up to adjustment, and I'm going to go to color balance. Okay. Now color balance is going to give you choices between red, green, and blue here. I'm going to turn up my blue, and this is just affecting my midtones on my photos. And you can see, let me get some blue in there. Let's see what highlights looks like. Let's turn that up. That goes a little nuts. I don't want to go too far up with that. Shadows, just a little bit on that too. Okay, and you can play around with it. Maybe you need some green in there, but for the most part, I think just blue, bringing that up a little bit, I think that's going to work. And again, you can click and hold on this little guy here, and that'll show you the difference from where you started to where you are. Again, if we just click and hold it down, that's where we started, that's where we're at. And it looks like that color change is going to be successful. So we're going to hit apply. I like where we ended up with that. It's a little more seamless. Like it matches up color-wise a whole lot better here now. All right, so we have that. Now it just looks like he's looking through an open window. We're going to add a moisture effect to that window to kind of make it even more realistic. Okay, so once again, we're going to go plus. I'm going to choose image. And you should have this glass photo available to you. Okay. Once again, I'm going to drag that below the man, but I'm going to keep it above Earth because I want it in between Earth and the man. Okay, because it's going to have that effect on this window here. Once again, it is a large photo, so we're going to jump up here. We're going to shrink it down. Shrink it down a whole lot. So it actually looks like it might actually be part of this window. And you can drag it around and see what you like. I kind of like that. I'm gonna go with that. Okay. Now, what we're seeing here is, again, it is a solid layer, and it's in between the Earth and the man, and so it's blocking out the Earth completely. It's a solid layer smacked right on top of that Earth photo. So we need to fix that. We need to go ahead and make it a little more transparent. In fact, we need to blend it in a whole lot better. Now, blending modes, if we hit the little 3 button, the 3 dots, or if you right click on your glass layer, you'll see that you have options here in our blend mode. Okay. Now you can go through these if you'd like. Again, you have to click it to actually see what it does. We're probably going to end up with screen. I like what screen does. Lighter is a little too much. Overlay is not bad either if we want to take the color out of it a little bit. But go ahead, you can play around with this. Figure out what one works for you. Soft light doesn't look too bad either. Oh, definitely not difference. Hue, saturation, no. Color, no. And mask isn't going to work for us because it just disappears. So I'm going to probably land on screen. Okay. Screen just basically applies the texture to it. It doesn't, but allows you to see the layer behind it. And for transparency, I'm going to play around with that a little bit. If I turn down the transparency a little bit, again, that allows you to get the color and the Earth through it a little bit further. So I'm going to end up with transparency around 50%. So you still get those water streaks from the moisture on the window, but you can still see the Earth through it as well. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, one more thing I want us to do with this is we're going to go back to our background. Again, click the photo of the man there. Okay. And we're going to go into our tools over here on the left-hand side. And we are going to end up with, let's see. I want this one right here, the little half circle. And it says dodge and burn. So we're going to lighten and darken areas of our image to bring out dark areas or dim light ones. Okay. So So here we go. I'm going to stick with our midtones. We're going to darken, okay? Otherwise known as burn. I'm going to change my brush size. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. What I want to do is I just want to darken some areas of my photo here. Okay. Okay, I just want to take out some of the lightness over here on the sides. Just a click and a drag. And it's hard to see that it's actually working, but it is. You can see on his shirt as we do that. Whoa. Got a little crazy because I got up on the mask that we're not dealing with right now. Okay. So we're just darkening up to some of those areas. Okay. If there's areas that you want to lighten, you can do that as well. Okay. Lighten that up. Keep the shadows on the back a little bit darker. Oh, that was too much. Control Z. Too much there. Okay. And darken out the sides. Okay. There we go. All right, so there you go. There's our Surreal window. If you want to add some other things to it or change the background, this is a great place to start. Again, you would just need to replace that earth image, maybe change some colors to your tones of your man at the window image. And there you go. It changes it completely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit File. We're going to save. And for this one, I'm going to save it as a PNG because I'm completely done with it. There's nothing else I want to do. If I want to make changes in the future, again, I'm going to choose PXZ so that I can open it again in Pixlr and just continue where I left off. So but for me, PNG, I'm going to call it man in space. I'm going to hit download. And that's a wrap on... That's a wrap on tutorial number 3. So hopefully you learned something there, and we'll have a project coming up that will allow you to be a little bit more creative and make your own Surreal window. So there you are. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.